A lot of these things are lost arts. People don't know how to fix anything. And so with this one, it was three, sewers with their machines, and then some hand sewing. And we had a couple of our volunteers where people could bring things that needed repair, clothing and fabric.
Wow.
So we had them. We had the clothing swap. We had two vendors, exhibitors who came to us, this shows how much people care about this. And one is Lynn Wagner, and she doesn't have a full website up yet, but it's Luna Refab Textiles, and she is, I think she's looking for investors, but has developed a patent pending recycling process that doesn't use dyes, water, or chemicals.
Oh, wow.
And it does a combination of dead stock and what they have a name for what they call the shredded stuff. So she was there, and then we had another company, Algenesis, reach out to us, and they have they're like a fabricator. They developed a material to make fully biodegradable sneakers. So then they're the parent company of Blueview Footwear. So I would look them up. They and what was really great about them was, and they're nice looking shoes too. They are fully compostable, because sometimes people will say biodegradable, and that's theoretical, like those green compostable produce bags. They're actually in some ways that's a side thing, a bigger problem than they're solving. But this is actually in a backyard composting operation, like realistically will break down in a few months. So it's truly biodegradable, and it doesn't biodegrade into the microplastics. It's I guess you could call it a plastic, but it's not a petroleum-based plastic. So it doesn't biodegrade into stuff that we don't want in the soil. So they were exhibiting, and we had some crafts for kids and adults. So we had it's a nonprofit called, what are they called? Be Creative Zone. And they do a lot of really creative things, basically with what would go to landfill. And they had a demonstration, and people could learn how to cut up socks and crochet rugs with them. And then we just had stuff, people doing night art on. We had a lot of cut up scrap fabric, little scraps, and cut up file folders as cardstock, and people could just make pictures. They got so creative. It was darling. And then some exhibits of what people can do, upcycling t-shirts and all of that. We had just a t-shirt and a scissors and things you can do that are really fun. So that was, some displays of upcycling. And we had two designers who also brought examples. Claudia, oh gosh, what is her last name? I just say it's Claudia. It's so loca. Just look up Sewloka.
Gotcha.
So you'll love her story. She is a designer. Her operates out of Barrio Logan, and does all upcycled fashion, and really is also about teaching people to sew. And because she did this when she was young, because she couldn't afford to buy, the newest fashion, and she learned how to go to thrift stores and change things. So she created a piece just for the event and brought another one to display. And one of our volunteers, turns out, is a costume designer and does upcycling on the side. So then she was also there to answer questions about repairing clothes. So that's again a long story. We did a lot of signage about statistics. Pretty, after a while we're like, these are pretty depressing. We got to put something a little hopeful on there. Then we had volunteers ahead of time do those. We did them all on fabric scraps, so on old sheets and pillowcases, which is a really good way to make signs, by the way, because then you can fold them up and reuse them. So they were hanging, all around the place. And then Isla Rent, who is the Girl Scout I was talking about, she had an information table and checked people in, and got a what do they call it? Proclamation from the city. They gave one to us too, just acknowledging the work that we did.